Alrighty, here we go. My name is Travis Neville. This is the Travis Neville Podcast. I wrote this book called Reviving Masculinity, Ideal Man, Reviving Masculinity. It is available everywhere you can buy books. You can get it at Walmart. You can get it at Amazon. You can get it at Barnes & Noble. You can get it at a gym in Virginia Beach, Virginia. I just got an order from a guy, friend of a friend. Wanted 20 copies to have to hand out to people at his gym, which was a hell of a compliment. I couldn't have gotten those things to him fast enough. Pumped about that. Thank you, Eric. Appreciate the compliment. Anyway, that's what I do. I run this podcast called the Travis Neville Podcast. My tagline is "Get your shit together." The idea here, very frankly, is to help you to improve your life. And bigger than that, help you to improve your world, which is an extension, I would argue, of improving your life. If your life is better, if you're happier, if you're better and stronger at all things, you're going to improve people around you and situations around you, which very much improves your world. Now, I'm saying all that right now, reminding you why I'm here and what I'm doing, because I haven't been here doing it for the last month. You know, a lot of people do that. They do the sober January. And I've done that before where I didn't drink for January. It's fun, actually, kind of lead a little bit of fun, but it's nice to not have hangovers and all that stuff, and learn a lot about myself. This January, I chose to go pretty much media free. Like, I made a couple of posts, but I certainly didn't record anything here. I didn't upload anything. I just kind of passed along a few things, but I actually deleted the apps, TikTok, Instagram. I deleted them from my phone for the month of January. I only pulled them up when I got, when someone reached out to me. I would respond at that point, and that was it. Yeah, kept it very minimal. And the test was very simple. Hey, is my life any different without this stuff? Now, granted, for me, I mean, I wrote a book that I want to get to people so I can help them. So social media is a tool that I'm going to have to deal with to get the word out, and I accept that. I know that that's what it is, but I wanted to take some time away and see how it impacted me. Well, I'll tell you the first thing I did. Um, I have more followers on TikTok than anywhere else. I got like 6,000 or something, which still isn't that many, but that's the first thing I got rid of. Like, I got, I started realizing that because I was spending, a half an hour a day, I would make myself sit down, discipline myself to go through and look and see if I could find anyone saying things that I liked, people that I thought were kind of on the same page as I am, or on the opposite page. That, long story short, I was looking for people to bring on as guests, and this works pretty simply. I find them on TikTok. People are easy to find there. And then you go to Instagram, and that's where you can reach out and be like, hey, I'd like to have you on my show. Give me a call. And that's how I've gotten pretty much all of my guests, which is, the way to do things. But what I find is that algorithm they give you on TikTok, and probably all social media, they're filing stuff into you. They're sending shit your way that, man, it just fires you up. Like, I know that that's how they make their money. The more emotionally involved you are with something, the more you're going to keep flipping, the more you're going to keep scrolling. And man, it was happening to me. I mean, I talk about this all the time about how, the world isn't real on screens, but man, I would do that in the morning and I'd be in a fucking bad mood for the rest of the day. Like, just because TikTok is sending me all this negative political shit, and it's my own fault because of what I press like on and what I don't. It's the same for everybody. That's the case. But it's pretty important to watch what you consume. You know what I mean? If it were outrageously, aggressively negative, you just would turn it off. But if there's just a little bit of negative in there, well, you're going to absorb it. It's going to kind of get you upset, and you're going to keep watching. And that's what I've been talking about that so much, about how the media, come on, you guys, it's a business. They're trying to make money. All right, it isn't, it's not government run. It's not run by a college. It's not run by like an educate or like a research institution. CNN is a business. Fox News is a business. They are there to make money. And so they're going to do whatever it takes. You know what I mean? And they're going to use all the algorithms. They're going to use all the research that they know about the human mind to get that done. They're going to do and say and put out everything that it takes to get you to keep watching, keep clicking. That's how that works. The only time I see the news, when I'm on the cardio machines at the gym, I can see they've got it up there. You know what I mean? And You don't even have to hear it. They just, the way they put the words on there, young teenage girl gets slashed by blah blah, right? Like it's like it fires you up. It gets you upset. It makes you want to hear what they're saying. And that's their job, okay? Their job is to make money. It's a anything national as far as news. It really is just like it's entertainment is what it is. It's a news-based entertainment program. Okay, it's the same for ESPN. It's the same for any type of news that you're going to watch. They're trying to get you to keep watching. People have short attention spans, and everybody loves drama. So the more fucking drama, the more they're going to highlight that shit, right? And that's what you're going to have. And I was a victim of that shit. I wasn't a victim. My decisions were making me feel the repercussions of it. So I took a month off of all of that shit, and man, I feel great. What I'm realizing is all those things that they're fanning the flames on, they don't affect me at all. Shit that's on the national news has zero impact in my life. I mean, none. I get up in the morning and I go to the gym and I come back here and I sit at my office and I work and maybe I've got some chores to do. I got some firewood to stack. I got water to haul. Get the sauna going. I gotta cook. I gotta like it doesn't affect me. It doesn't affect my friends either. It doesn't affect my family. So what the fuck are we doing watching it? You know? Anyway, that's where I'm coming from. Been off for a month. I feel really good. It was a theory of mine, everything I just told you, but I wanted to have like actual pseudo tangible evidence, which I feel like I came out of that month with. Like it was fucking with me. Even the little bit of exposure I was getting, it was fucking with me. Aristotle, he said, I'm gonna get this wrong, but it is the mark of an educated mind to be able to entertain a thought without accepting it. Okay. So, and what that means is that you can think about an idea or maybe even talk about it with someone without believing in it. Okay? Because that's two different things. To think, to discuss, to talk about, that's that's a logical pursuit. Okay? And to have it be a part of you, that's an emotional situation. And they're different. You know what I mean? And I like that about Aristotle. He said a mark of an educated mind. He didn't say you're dumb if you can't do this. He said that the more you educate yourself, which is great, because education you can control, your intelligence you cannot. You're as smart as you're going to be. It's just a genetic thing, but you can make yourself more educated. The more educated you are, the more likely you are to be able to entertain a thought without accepting it. Be able to talk about a thing, and at the end of it, go, "Yeah, I don't believe in that." But still talk about it, right? And not have your feelings dictate everything that comes out of your mouth, right? And it used to be that that's what college was for. It was to expose you to all these things so that you had an idea of what else was out there besides the things that you held dear that you were raised with in your hometown and all that stuff. You go away to college, you start to educate yourself, and you learn all these things that maybe you didn't know. And a lot of them you will entertain for a little bit, and then you will cast them aside. Like, all right, I tried that, I thought about it, but it's just not for me. And that's the process of defining yourself. That's the process of learning who you are. That's the process of maturation, which I really like. Again, college used to be that. At least that's still the concept, but it's my opinion that college has become basically an indoctrination camp for liberalism. I mean, basically, if the school doesn't end in if it's not Saint something or other, or if it doesn't end in Tech or A&M, they're basically just going to be firing all these, leftist ideas at you just nonstop. And they're going to tell you what to think instead of teaching you how to think, which I don't like. It's tough to get out of college without that anymore. It's tough to get out without being indoctrinated, which in some ways is good. I mean, they're going to teach you, I don't know, I don't want to get bag on college is too bad because shit, I went to two of them. And, I'm glad I did that. I came out educated for sure. I learned a lot of things I didn't know. Got better at my craft, which was, education. But there's just this political agenda now with education, which I'd say it goes all the way down to kindergarten, basically, at this point. Anyway, I encourage you to try what I tried. Well, we'll call it a stress test. Delete media for a week. Maybe take note of where your frustrations arise, your stresses. I guarantee you they're not to do with world level problems, okay? They're not to do with shit that's going on in Washington, D.C. or New York or fucking Los Angeles. They're probably things in your daily life. Those are the things that you should be Worried is the wrong term, but how about this? Concerned with. Those are the things you want to spend your effort and energy on, are the things that are near you. People say this, hey, think globally, act locally. Well, don't fucking think globally. It's got nothing to do with you. Okay? That's got nothing to do with you. Think locally and act locally. The shit that's around you, your world, it's actually pretty small. It's the people who you work with. It's the people in your home. It's your neighbors. It's shit like I talk about that all the time. That your world is actually very small. It is not this massive thing that happens on your phone and happens on TV and happens on your computer. That's not your world. That's the world. It's none of your concern. You don't have to fuck with that shit. It's you're biting off more than you can chew if you try to jump into some fucking big ass idea like that. You know what I mean? I was talking to my buddy Joe, really smart guy. I don't get to see him enough. I don't get to talk to him enough, and I'm disappointed in myself for that. I blame myself. But he said this. He said, in our country, and I'm going to misquote him here, I'm just going to paraphrase it, but he said, in our country, we got two groups. One group looks at these ideas, equality, shit like that, and he said, and they have no emotional connection to it. To them, they're just ideas. They're outside of themselves, and to the other side of the country, um, those ideas are the fiber of their being. And he meant that as like, all right, these people really believe in their ideas and they're really behind them and they couldn't be more wrapped up and involved in it. But my first thought when he said that was, man, that seems incredibly vulnerable. If you've got these ideas that have nothing to do with you, that are way outside of you and way bigger than you are, and that's how you define yourself, that just seems very vulnerable. It seems like you're very able to be attacked. So, because if people attack these ideas, you're going to feel like they're attacking you, and it'll stop you from ever having any kind of a cognizant, level-headed academic discussion about those ideas. It goes back to our idea about what Aristotle says. You got to be able to entertain thoughts without accepting them. So, if the only thoughts you're willing to entertain are the ones you accept, well, it's completely one-sided. How are you ever going to get educated if that's the way you come out? And again, you're vulnerable to attack. That's just how it feels to me. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't define myself that way. And I guess everybody's got the freedom to, you define yourself as you will. Um, but for me, it's my identity are the things that I've built, and it's a pretty long list at this point in my life. I mean, I'm 46 years old. I'm pushing 50. That's almost a half a century I've been here impacting, building the best I can. I mean, I've impacted and built thousands of young people in my career as a teacher and as a coach. Couldn't be prouder of most of them. I'm proud of myself for putting the time and putting the effort in. It's very satisfying. It's very rewarding. I think about the teams that I've had over the years. Real proud of my work at Grand Blanc, no matter how it ended. I had a great time there and built some young men, and we built a program that was, I mean, it's all been blown up now by the new head coach, and that's okay. He's got to do what he's got to do. I understand that, but what we made there isn't there anymore. But what we did build something great. I'm very proud of the work I did at Southlake, and we took a team that this track team had. When I got there, they didn't even have a record board in the gym. What kind of school doesn't have a track and field record board in their gym? They didn't even have one. That's how low track was. And in 4 years, we had our boys team. They were fifth in the state of Michigan. I had a state champion high jumper. Right? Like we built that, and that actually kept going. From what I understand, that track program is actually still pretty good, which I'm proud of. And the guys I worked with, I've built great relationships with them. I mean, one of them I talk to almost every day. One of the coaches that I met coaching there at Southlake, I define myself by my relationships with my friends and my family. Those are relationships I put as much work into as I can. You know, I, tr- I remember when I lived out of state, I was constantly texting my friends. I built relationships while I was away. You know what I mean? Like I was able to do that. I made sure I came up and spent time with everybody. Anyway, that's how I define myself. I include you to define yourself the same way. You can't define yourself by some shit that can be on a bumper sticker. That's not who you are. You know what I mean? You are a brother and a son and an employee and maybe an employer. Maybe you're a dad. Maybe you are a really good neighbor. You hopefully you're a great partner, a great husband, great boyfriend, whatever you are. And these are the things. That's where you define yourself. You don't define yourself by giant ass terms like equity, equality, and LGBTQ rights and shit like that. That's not a basis for defining who you are. Those things I'm talking about, actual tangible people, things that you've actually built with your hands, with your effort, those actually are a result of you. That's your world. That's the world that you've built. Those other ideas are, they're just ideas. And the time that you spend, if you spend an exorbitant amount of it on those things, that's time you're not spending on the people that you're actually impacting. I think about this short story that I used to read when I was teaching. I think it was the Scarlet Ibis. Yeah, it was. And so it was this mother and a daughter, maybe it was an aunt and a daughter, and they were talking. The daughter had come back from college, and she was wearing all this African garb. There was a black family wearing all this African garb, and she was talking about how she's going to change her name to some African name to honor her roots, and she had really absorbed this culture of some country she'd never been to, with people that she never knew. And at the same time, the mom or the aunt basically says, well, your name is this because that was your mother's name and that was your grandmother's name. Like basically reminding her, well, yeah, you did come from all that, but these are people you actually know. These are people that you can impact and that have impacted you. Like get your fucking priorities straight, basically. Like you're gonna shit on everyone around you because of some big idea that you've decided is more important than they are. And obviously I'm not doing it as eloquently as she is, but um, I don't know. That was my thought on that. That um, big ideas, they're too open to interpretation to be a thing that you base yourself on, your life on. If that's what you're doing, I encourage you to try to dial it back. Try to get into something a little bit more manageable, something closer to reality. And it's perception is such a big part of that. I was thinking about perception the other day too, that I never had anyone, and man, I'd love to have the conversation. I've yet to have anybody call me up or make a comment on social media or shoot me an email or whatever, reach out to me in any way, who read my book, read the whole thing, and they had a bunch of problems with it. Who was like, I didn't like this and I didn't like that. I've never had that happen. I've never had someone read the entire thing, this book, and call me and want to talk about it because they disagreed. Man, I would welcome that conversation. That would be so fucking cool. Because you know what? I'm glad you have a different interpretation. I want to know what it is. If you're one of my people and you can reach out to me, even if you're not, even if you're a total stranger and you found my shit on the internet, I still want to talk to you about it. Because we'll both learn from each other if we get into having that conversation. You know what I mean? But that's not what happens. The people who reach out to me are the ones who want to have they want to have a problem with the fucking cover. Not shitting you. Like it's violent. That's what everybody's got the fucking problem with. Oh, look, it's got violent and it's in bold. So not only are they going to judge this book by its cover, but they're going to judge the dude who fucking wrote it by its cover. And in some cases, these are people who have known me for a long time are judging me by one word on the cover of a book they didn't fucking read. You know what I mean? That it blows my mind. That's going to make it impossible to entertain a thought. You know what I mean? You can't entertain a thought, let alone accept it, if you don't know what the fucking thoughts are. Now, let's be real fucking honest here. Of course, I've highlighted violent because it's going to catch your eye. Come on. Marketing is a part of the world that we live in. You want to make money, you're going to have to do it. And it's no different than my social media stuff. Shit, most of that I don't even do. Like, especially in the summertime, I'm so fucking busy. I hire a girl to do that. You know what I mean? Unless it's a picture of me like talking to the camera, or like, it's a video of me talking to the camera, or it's some shit at my cabin. I probably didn't make that post. Like, she goes through my YouTube, she goes into YouTube and pulls clips out of my full podcast, like this one. Of course, she's gonna pull the shit that's more provocative. That's what you're supposed to do. I just got done telling you that's how media works. They're trying to catch your attention. They're trying to keep it. They're trying to stir the pot. Well, I realize that. I accept it. I don't love it. But if I want to help people, I got to get the word out. That's it. It is what it is. And again, that's what people have problems with when they, bitch about my stuff. I don't want to spend a whole bunch of time talking about me or my haters, because I got plenty. It's just the concept of, you know, narrowing your world, or getting your priorities adjusted I used to work with this teacher. I always liked her, but she had a bad reputation in the building we were working in as just kind of being a pot stirrer. She was always involved in drama, always involved with bullshit. Was always, in a principal's office explaining some shit. It's like she just was a drama magnet. I don't know any other way to say it. That's what she was. She's kind of a chaos addict. And like I said, I always had a good relationship with her because I can turn that shit off. I realize people have their proclivities. Fuck, I have mine. I got no problem with that. If that's just how you do things, cool. Just don't make me a part of it. But you never did. So we were cool. And I was very, pretty good friends with a couple of the principals at that building. And one of them, and we were having this conversation. He's like, "Man, she's a despicable person. You know, that she's not good for kids. She's blah blah blah." I'm like, "Man, I don't know about that. I guess I haven't seen all of it. Maybe, is what I was thinking." And then she had kids. Like she had kids of her own. And once that happened, man, it was like somebody pressed the fucking stop button. Somebody put their foot on the clutch, and all that drama shit just went away. I think that her life, and I never had this conversation with her, but from the outside, what it looked like was she realized that all of that stuff was just bullshit. 'Cause now she had something real, something actually that she created, something tangible, something that she really could impact. She had a different world at that point. She had narrowed her world down to being, well, this is all I have to worry about. And so this other shit doesn't matter to me anymore. You know what I mean? Like that was a real perspective changer for her. This is what it looked like from the outside. She just was calmer, um, spoke up way less in staff meetings. Like she changed. And I thought that was awesome. That's what you need. If you are the type of person who you got drama all the time and everything outside of you is a problem and blah, 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 you just haven't built anything of your own yet. That's what that is. You just haven't built anything. You don't have anything that you can be proud of and call your own. Whether it's a relationship or fuck, man, I'm building a house right now. Like actually fucking building a house with my own two hands. I was over there on Wednesday and I installed all the windows. Like actually put the fucking windows in the building. And I was there the next day putting in doors. And I'll be there finishing the roof stuff next week when my heater comes in. Like I'm actually fucking building the house with help of friends, of course. And I've hired a few people to help here and there. But yeah, I'm building it myself. That's a thing I can be proud of every single day. And every second I live in that fucking thing, I'm gonna know that like this building I'm sitting in right now, I built this fucker. I put the insulation in the walls. I made it waterproof. I put the roof on it. I cut the firewood that I'm burning to stay warm. I installed the chimney that smoke's leaving the cabin in. You see what I'm saying? Now, it's just a small example. It's just a dwelling, and most people don't have that skill set, and that's cool. But you do have the skill set to build relationships. You can build really good friendships you can be proud of. You can build good professional work relationships you can be proud of. I have people that I've met through doing what I do here, through guests on my podcast, etc., that I've reached out to and have become pretty good friends. You know what I mean? They're people that I reach out to and I joke with and we fuck around. And I mean, I don't see them in person because they're all over the country, but you guys know Sarah and I are pretty good friends. We talk all the time. Built that. She built that. That's your world. Okay? That's how that works. If you didn't build it, if you didn't earn it, why the fuck are you worried about it? You know what I mean? Like, really think that through. I'm proud of my fucking body. I'm not the most ripped motherfucker, but I work out every day. I'm reasonably careful with what I eat. I look pretty good for pushing 50. I'm proud of that. I mean, it's something I built. That's the world, okay? Your world is what's around you. And I think that if you can dial yourself back into that and realize how small your world really is, it's going to be a massive stress reliever for you. You know what I mean? It's yeah, if you can't impact it, why are you fucking worried about it? You know? Proud of my businesses. I've got two, well, three if you include this one. I'm proud of this podcast. I've been doing this is a I'm up in the 90s right now. I think it's episode 92. I've been doing this for over 2 years. I've built some relationships that way too. I was talking to was texting with Ryan Bills. He's the owner of the Blue Collar Clothing Company in Mile, Michigan, and they um, are making my new T-shirts. This one I'm wearing right here is one of my OG. This is the first model that ever came out, the white with the black flag on the front. But he makes all my new ones. And I told him, like, listen, man, I couldn't be more supportive of what you guys do at Blue Collar Clothing. I want my podcast t-shirts to have your logo on them too, because I believe in what you're doing. And to him, that's a compliment because shit, like I've gotten those t-shirts out to some pretty influential motherfuckers out on the internet. You know what I mean? Some really important men and women who can extend Ryan's brand of the blue collar clothing, right? There's people who've never heard of Ryan Bills and never been to Mile, Michigan. They know who blue collar clothing is, right? Because of a joint effort that we did together. And Ryan does stuff like that for me too. Like shit, I'm gonna need some wood for the ceiling of my house. And I know he's gonna help me out because he runs a lumber mill on the side too. This dude's a hard worker. You guys know that. I talked about that before. Yeah, proud of that. That's part of my world. Um, Shit, be proud of your health. That's a good thing to be into, I suppose, right? Um, yeah, the world it's a lot smaller than the TV and the shit on the screens is gonna kind of make you think. Your world is actually much smaller than you think, and that's just such a good thing. It's like going from this gigantic fucking house into one that's a lot smaller that fuck you can clean it in 25 minutes, you know? You can straighten everything up in 3 minutes. Um, you know, like it just makes your life easier to manage when you shrink your world down a little bit. You know. Anyway, one of the things I did do during this month where I wasn't getting no media, um, I actually listened to my book. I listened to myself reading my book to myself. And as cheesy and as egomaniacal as that might sound, it's actually awesome for me to remember exactly what I'm doing here and what I stand for. I'm like, hey, this is the crown jewel of my pseudo empire, right? Is this book, Reviving Masculinity. I got to make sure that I'm adhering to that every day. Now, of course, I wrote it. But that was a year and a half ago. Life changes, research changes, um, things change. But I'm happy to tell you that I'm happy to tell myself really that after listening to the whole thing on Audible, and I did it while I was putting in Windows. I'm like, fuck, man, I'm proud of that shit. Like, that's a thing I built, right? I'm building a house while listening to this book that I built, and yeah, it makes your life more manageable. Anyway, I'm still on point with that, which is good. So that's what it is. I'm gonna call this redefining the world. You know, um, my man Jack Donovan calls his tag is "Start the World," and he's got a great explanation for that. It's really fucking cool. Um, we're gonna call this episode "Redefining the World." um, or changing the world the right way, realizing that your world is nowhere near as big as you think. It's actually much smaller. You have way less to concern yourself with. But yeah, I'm still Travis Neville, and this is still the Travis Neville podcast 2 years later. I've written 2 books. The one that I'm pushing right now is this one, Reviving Masculinity. Ideal Man, Reviving Masculinity. You can get my t-shirts that say Ideal Man right across the chest on my website, travisneville.com. You can get these cool podcast stickers. Also on that same website, I got a stack of them here. I have hats. You can buy copies of the book there. If you buy them on the website, you got to spend a couple more bucks, but it's because I got to pay shipping. But I'll sign it for you because I got a box full right here. I'll just sign it to you. Usually what I like to do is if somebody hits me up on Instagram, I will, or I recognize the name, I'll go to their Instagram and look and see what they're into and try to tie that into how I script in the book for them. I don't know, let's try to make it a little bit personal if I can. Yeah, that's what I do. I do construction to make money, but what am I? Who am I? Fuck, man, I'm a writer. Okay, I write books. I do podcasts. I try to help men be better at being men. So there's an absolute void in that information right now. I believe strongly in it. I wouldn't be doing this shit, okay? If you want to be better at being a man, I'm here to help you. And if you reach out to me, it's not just me. I have a network of other men who are doing the same thing with different slants on it. We'll find you a fit. We'll find you the right kind of person you can hook up with their information and start catching their media, and it'll get you going down the road you want to go down. That's what we're here for, okay? Here to help you be a best man you can be, which is incredibly important. Don't let anybody tell you that masculinity is a thing you should be ashamed of. That's fucking embarrassing to even think that. Okay? It's bullshit. Masculinity is natural, normal, helpful. The book talks all about it. I talk all about it. I'm Travis Neville. This is the Travis Neville Podcast. I hope that in some way today's show helps you to get your shit together. Have a great week.